Guys, welcome to my YouTube channels, and in this video I'm going to discuss about block in Java. So basically block is very important if you know about like how it is working and what are the use of the block. Okay, so let's start with the block, and we are going to understood in this video what is block, how we can write a block, and what are the blocks are the availables in Java. So I'm going to cover each and everything in this video. Okay, so basically, so block is something like a something curly braces open and close. So those things we are saying one block. So block having some name or block having some does not have a name, so that is possible. Okay, so in Java, a block is a group of zero or more statements enclosed in curly braces. So are you able to see these curly braces? I hope. Okay, these curly braces. So in Java, a group of the zero, maybe the inside the group you can put a zero statements, matlab means lines of the code, zero or more than zero, that is possible, and you can write inside this block of the codes, that is called a block. The anything is captured inside these curly braces, that is called block, are used to define the scope of the variables, and basically these are used to define the scope of the variable to create a compound statements and define the classes, methods, and control flow statements. Okay, so those are the things we need to know about it. Okay, but if someone tell you like, hey, can you please tell me what is the block in Java? So you can say in Java whatever we have written inside the curly braces, and maybe the block having some name which is static, non-static finally. So like that, they are the block are the availables in Java, you can say. If you go next, you can say there are three types of the block in Java. What are the types of the blocks are available in Java? Is local block, instance block, and a static block. So these are the blocks. So basically these are the blocks are the availables in Java, which is the local block, instance block, and a static block. So these are the main types of the block, you can say local, instance, and a static block. But apart from this, you have some more block also, which is finally block, try block, catch block. We can say in the different name. We can say like something like finally block, something like non-static block. So those are the possible synchronized block. But let us understand what is the local block, what is the instance block, and what is the static block. Okay, so what is basically the local block? This is a block of the statement defined within a methods. Okay, so this is a block of the statement defined within a method or constructor. The variables defined in a local block are only accessible within the block and are not visible outside of it. Okay, so whatever the block you created inside the method or inside the constructors, that blocks we are considering as a local block. For example, you can see here we have created one class called method called sum method. Inside the method we have a one variable int x equal to 10, but after that we have created one block, curly braces open, curly braces close. So this block does not have any name, but still you can say here we have created int y equal to 20 and system.out.println x plus y output is 30. Y is not accessible here. Why? Y is not accessible here because the y is created inside this block. So once this block is completed, this inside this created variables will not able to access outside. Okay, so because of that I have commented here y is not accessible here. So if I try to access here, it's give me the error. Let's do one thing. Let's go to the Eclipse and let's try to understand like what is it. Okay, so I'm going to create one class Okay, before going to create a class, I want to close all those classes. So Control Shift W, so one times all those classes will be closed. Okay, now again expand it, and here go inside this is our package name. Control N, give the class name, and here you can give the class name which is local block test. So this is something like which is meaningful, and you can understood easily. Okay, we are going with the test with the local block. Okay, now here I am going to create one method which is main method, and main method is also a method. Okay, so I hope you know about it, so no issue in that. And inside this I am going to create one variable int a equal to 10. Okay, right, previously we have created x, y, so let's take the x. So int x equal to 10, and now I'm going to create one block. So this is something called block. It's a local block. If I created this block inside this method, any method, it's your method or maybe the main methods or some other method, if you create any block, it means that this block is a local block if you created inside the methods, and this block does not have any name. We have not specified any name also, and we can't give also. Okay, those things you have to remember it. So here I have created one block. Inside this block I am going to create one int y equal to 20. Very simple. And just try to print here s out x plus y. So what will happen? This x is visible for entire this block. I'm right? This block. So because of that I am able to access this x inside this block. No issue. But this y is created inside this block. So after execution of this block I am not able to access this y. Okay. So what I will do, I will print s out, and again I will try to write x plus y, which is x plus y. So while writing x plus y I am getting an error. X is fine, x is available, but while accessing y it's showing like y cannot be resolved to a variables, because this variable is already destroyed, because inside this block it's available. So once block is completed executions, this y is destroyed, and because of that this y is not available for future. Why you are trying to access here? So when I try to access the y I am getting error. If I try to access the x, that is fine, no issue. So that is the one block, and that is called a local block. You can consider it. Okay, so I hope you understood. If I run this code, you can see the output. Same thing, you have to practice your own, and you have to understand each and everything. So here you can see 30, and here you can see 10, which is printed by the x. If I try to access y, it's not accessible, because whatever the variable you have created inside this block, it's only able to access inside the block only. The scope of inside this variable is within the curly braces only. You can't access the variable outside. Okay, so I hope you understood what is the local block. Okay, let's go to our topic. Okay, so you have understood the local block. Now we are going to discuss about what is the static block. So basically a static block is, this is a block of the statement that is executed when a class is loaded. So I don't know, like you know what is the class loading, what is the class, how class is executes. So I think you don't know as of now, but later I am going to discuss like what is the JVM, how JVM will work, what is the compiler, how compiler will work. So that time you can understood what is the loading and what is the binding, how class will be executed, each and everything. But as of now, just understood. This is a block of the statement that is executed when class is loaded. When class is loaded means when first time you are trying to execute your classes, that time only it's loaded. It means only one time it will execute the static block. Okay. Static blocks are used to initialize a static variables. So basically the static blocks we are using to initialize a static variables or to perform some other static initialization task. So basically the block which we are creating, which is basically need whatever the prerequisite we need for proceed the further process of our execution. So those code we can write in the static block, so that when class is loaded, that time only the whatever the configurations we need it will done, and then after you can do the other work. Okay, for example, you have to connect with the JDBC. So you have to write a JDBC connectivity with the database. That time also it's a very important. You can write those connectivity statement inside the static block. So while loading a class only, it's created a connectivity with your database, and then you can utilize those features. You don't want to create each and every time of the connections. So that is the better practice of the codes, we can say. So for example, here you can see I have created one class. Or make sure you can't create a static block inside the method, constructor or any other block. You can only create a static block inside the class label. If I am saying class label, it means inside the class only. You can't go inside the method, constructor or any other block. Okay. So for example, I have created one class called my class, and inside this class I am creating one static what? A static what? A static block. So this is the name we are giving. This is the keyword. So we are providing a keyword with the curly braces open, curly braces closes. So this is considered as a what? A static block. We can print it. This is a static block. Let's go to the Eclipse and let's test it, like how it will work. Okay. So I'm going to create one more class. Okay. The class name is statics block test, a static block test. So this is our class. Make sure you have to create a main method, and before going to create a main method, we are going to create one statics. So this is the static block, you can say. And only you have to write the static block inside the class label, not inside the method. If you go and write this block inside the method, it will not work. Okay, it will give exception or compile time error. So this is something, the rules and regulation we have to follow and writing a static block. So basically while writing a static block, you can see here I am able to create a variable inside this static block. So int x equal to 10, and also I will write s out and x. So these things I have written, but I have not written the main method as of now, and I'm trying to execute it. Okay, so what I'm getting? 30. This is the previous code. This is not our code. So right click on that, this class, and go to the run as. Otherwise remove this one and then try to run it. No, it's executing the previous class only. So actually inside this classes there is no main method, so because of that is not able to execute it. Okay, what I am doing is I'm writing one main method. So whenever write any static block, if you not provided the main method, you are not able to execute your code. Okay, why? Because Java is only support to start execution with the main method. So if it is come and if it is see like main method is not available, then it will not start the execution of the code. So you have to make sure whenever you are writing a code, make sure in your classes having a main method, which is the main classes. And once you write the main methods, now you can able to execute your code. So let's run it. So Java application and okay. So here you can see 10. What is this 10? The 10 is nothing but this one line of the code. So what will happen here? So when you execute your code, your execution will start from this line, which is main method. Once it is started, it's going here and it's saying okay, main method is there. Now it will go to the top of the classes and it will check like whatever the static statement we have given. So for example, maybe you have created some static variable, some static method, some static block. So here it will check okay, this is the static block. So it will go and it will execute first a static block while loading a classes only. So while a loading means classes only is once main method is confirmed, it will load this class, and while loading only it will execute first what this static block, and because of that we are able to see this x value is 10. It's displaying here in the console. Okay, if you create one more static block, that is possible. Yeah, how much you want to create a static block, you can create, no issue. Okay, and this code is separate and this code is separate. It will consider this will not participate in that and this will not participate in that. Okay, both are separate code we are written here. So just go and run this. Yeah, 10 it is fine. So how many you want a static block you want to write, you can write, no issue, that will work fine. Okay, one more thing, so we can test it. We can write one s out here also, so that we can understood ki first it will display top to down. So let's give here 20 or 30. Okay, and here just print something like hello Java. Hello Java. Just run this code. Now you can see the output, like what is the flow of the code is going on. Okay, so here you can see first it's executed first static block which is 10, then next static block which is 30, and then after finally it came inside this main method, and main method statement will be executed. So this is the flow of the statics block, and whenever you create any block with the static name or a static keyword of the block, that is called a static block. One more things, if you are copy this code which is a static block and you are trying to write this static block inside this any method, so that is not possible. Okay, that will give the error. So make sure whenever you are touching any objective code, that time you get like that. So this is the syntax error. You can write without, that is called local block. Local block is possible in the method, earlier we have discussed, but a static block will not possible inside the method or constructor or any other block of the code. Okay, inside the static variables also you can't create here. Here you can see if you create a static variable inside the static block, that is not possible. It's saying like illegal modifier of the variable x, only final is permitted. Okay, so you can't give anything inside the static block. If you want to create a method inside this, like void m1, okay, here you can see this is the void syntax error. This is the m1. syntax error. Okay, so you can't write inside those things. Okay, method is only possible to write inside the class, not inside the block. I hope you understood, guys. And also make sure the basically we are using the static block to write a something which is required before the main method executions. For example, I want to give some JDBC configurations, or something like I want to do something before of the main executions. Then you can go and you can write those code inside the static block in the real time we are doing basically. Okay, but for example, while opening your programs, you want to print something like welcome to Javaization. So you can write those code before executions. You can print those line of the code on the screens. Hello user, welcome to Javaization. So this is something message if you want to print before executing the real of the code. Okay, so you can print it. So those things which is required before the executions of the programs, you can go and you can write in the static block. I hope you understand. Let's go to understand the next block. What is the next block? So as of now we have discussed what is the local block, what is the static block, and now we are going to talk about what is the initialization block. So this is a block of the statement that is executed when an object of the class is created. So what is the object of the class is created? What do you mean by this? So basically, whenever you create a object of particular class, that time this initialization block will be called, and it will initialize the whatever the variables you have created, which is instance variable, those it will initialize when it is called. So whenever the object will be created, it will call. Okay, and what about this one? This will only call when a static block only call when what? One time, which is class is loaded. Local block will call when method will call. Initialization block will be called when the object is created. So you can see the example here. Here I have one class called my class. I have created one int x, which is class label I have created here. So this is called instance variables, and then after I have created one instance, initialization block, which is instance block, you can say initialization block. And here I have initialized those variable with the 10, and then after I have printed it. Okay, this is an initialization block. So this is also we are going to write in like class level block. Okay, it's not a local. It's look like a local, but it's not a local. It's a class level. So let's go to the Eclipse and start writing a code for that initialization block. So here you can see I have created one class called initialization. Block test. So it's simple classes I have created here. So what I have to do is I have created one int x equal to, for example, int just x. So this is a instance variable. It's not inside the method. If it is inside the method, we can say it's a local variable, but it's available inside the class level, we can say instance variable. Okay, this part is already we have discussed when we are talking about the variables. Okay, also I am going to create one block which is instance block. So just open the curly braces, close the curly braces. So that is called initialization block, and this block we are creating directly inside the what? Class level. This is called class level. Inside the class we are creating, so we can say this is the class level. Here I am going to initialize this x. So x equal to, for example, 20. Okay, and here I'm going to print li block x value. So what is the x value? It will print. So right now if I run this code, nothing output will come because it's coming from the previous. Let's write one main methods. Having a one reason why we have to write a main method every time. So I have created one main methods. So just I have created the main method, and if I try to execute it, it will execute. But the problem is nothing will come on the console. Why? Because console is empty, because this block is not called. When object is created, that time only this block will be called. Okay, so whatever you are going to write here, which is s out or something, main, just write a main method and try to execute it. So you can see main, but this static block will not call. This variable is not initialized. When this is initialized, okay, just comment this one, when you create a object for that class. When you create a object for that class. So for example, I'm going to create one object, 1 equal to new initialization block. So this is the block I have created. This is the object I have created of these classes. I hope you understood. I have given the class name A1. This is the reference variable, equal to new class name, and block is closed. So through that I am able to create one class object, and once I create an object for that, this will happen, and it will create a one memory diagram for that, which is x, and it will initialize the value with the 10, and it will print it also. So let's run it. So now you can see here initialization block of the x is 20. Now this is the one object I have created, so that is run. Again I can create one more object. So how many objects I have created, that much time it will execute. So this is the 2. So I have created 2 objects. If I run it, it's run 2 times. If I create one more object, it's run how many times? 3 times. You can see here. If I create one more object for that class, so you can see here, it's run one more time. So how much object you are going to create, that much time it is going to initialize the separate instance variable for that object, and it will print it. Okay, I hope this one is clear. You can create multiple block also. So for example, I have created as of now one block. You can create other block also, 2-3 block also, and we can define here something like 323, and you can print it also. So just guess what is the output will happen if I run this code. Okay, so if I run this code, you can see here initialization block of x equal to 20, initialization block of the x equal to 23, initialization block of the x equal to 20, 23, 10, 20, 23, 20, 23. What will happen? The one object is created. So first this block will be executed, then after this block will be executed. So whatever the block you have given, which is initialization block, it will executed for per object creation. Okay, whenever object will be created, it will execute all those non-statics block. So this block you can say non-static block also. So sometimes we can say initialization block, yeah, non-static block, non-static block. And previously we have talked about, so this one you can say a static block, a static block of the code. So this is the some terminology you have to know about it, and just understand the concept like how it is working. Okay, so once you understood, you can become a rock on this programming language and you can do each and everything. Okay, I hope you guys you understood. So for all those variables it will created and it will printed it, and I hope you understood. Let's go to the slide and let's check like anything is missing. So this is the initialization block and this is the synchronization block. What is the synchronization block? So when we talk about the multi-thread thread, so that time we can discuss about what is the synchronized keyword and how we can use it, how we can create a block for that. But basically you can understood here this is a block of the statement that is used to synchronize a access to a shared resources. So shared resources means we have a one resources, means one's data type, one object, and multiple threads are trying to access those particular thread. So what will happen is if all those threads are trying to access at the same time, it will go to the waiting stage all those threads. If you talk about the round robin concept or deadlock, so it will go to the deadlock. Okay, so deadlock will be possible while sharing a resources. So only the thread can execute only one thread can execute the synchronized block at the time. So if you create any block which is synchronized, so multiple thread will not access at the same time, it will access one by one those particular resources. I hope you understood. So this is the public, which is keyword, and we are using the synchronized keyword to create a method which is void sub method. So once you use the synchronize here, it's become a synchronized block, or separately we can create a synchronized block also, like a static block. And this block is just synchronized. Only one thread can execute this block at a time. Other threads will wait until the block is released. Okay, so like that you can use the synchronize keyword to creating a block. Okay, so those are the basic things which we need to understood, like what is the block and how block will be work. Okay, and what are the possibility to writing a block and what are the advantage and disadvantage you can understood. And in the next video we can discuss more about something other concept, and this concept also we can relate in the futures. Thank you so much.